Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of the AtGames Arcade Gamer Portable, which has 30 built-in Sega Master System and Sega Game Gear games. Is it good? Let's find out! It's the almighty pocket commanding full-color Sega Game Gear. Back in the day when Nintendo gave you Mario in black and white with the Game Boy, Sega delivered Sonic in full color. Well, now the folks at AtGames give you 30 built-in Sega games in the Arcade Gamer Portable, an aftermarket Sega Master System and Game Gear. I thought for sure there's no way this thing is going to be good, but it actually kind of is. We've all seen a lot of these aftermarket game systems with built-in games by now. Some of them are downright terrible, others aren't so bad. It really comes down to the presentation, the controller, and the build quality. So let's peel off the Sonic the Hedgehog sticker from the front of it and give the AtGames Arcade Gamer Portable a Classic Game Room road test. My first impression is that it's gotta be cheap. The bar is pretty low for these aftermarket handhelds. My eyes must be lying to me. It can't look good, but it actually does. And it doesn't sound too bad either. Maybe it's because my expectations were so low, or maybe it's because this actually, for once, does what it's supposed to do. The AtGames Arcade Gamer Portable, they really could have come up with a better name for it, delivers 30 Sega Game Gear and Master System games, portably, with a decent screen and functional, comfortable buttons, in a non-disappointing way. And that's like the compliment of the century for an aftermarket handheld game system, because after you've played the stuff from Sega and Nintendo, who are the masters at making great long-lasting handheld game systems, everything else pretty much sucks, except maybe the Sony PSP. So while you can't feel it through the screen, well, maybe you can feel the funk through the screen, but you can't feel the plastic through the screen. It does feel a little bit cheap. It's a bit squishy. Not nearly as solid as the Game Gear, which is like a brick with a screen and buttons. The real benefit to having the AtGames Portable is that you get a bunch of games that you wouldn't expect to be portable on a portable handheld that's not the Game Gear but has a screen that's better than the Game Gear screen, because Sonic Drift 2 would never look this good on the Game Gear unless you spent a fortune replacing your Game Gear screen. Which you can do, but if you see a game on the box that I showed earlier that you really want to play on your Game Gear but you don't want to upgrade your Game Gear, get this thing. It's not that bad. And I'm pretty sure it costs less than fixing up your Game Gear. It's got Golden Axe. How bad can it be? A little burning people with monsters and cutting them in half never hurt anyone. Unless you're the one being burned and cut in half. Then I hear it's quite painful. But not nearly as painful as watching me play Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm so bad at these games. It's also not nearly as painful as playing the Gamecom, but really few things are. So I've got a Classic Game Room. Shout out and thank you to send all the way to Tom, aka Kobocop. Kobocop, stay out of trouble. From Reynosa, Mexico. Thank you, Tom. I loved your email, by the way. If you're not watching Buck Rogers drinking beer and playing Atari, then you're not living life. Could it be better? Sure, it could have been built by Sega or Nintendo, because then it would have been built like a tank. But for a decent price, you get 30 games, many of them excellent, like Fantasy Zone. And we get super columns. Talk about pain. Let's watch Mark play a puzzle game. I'm even worse at these than I am at platformers. You can't play your own library of Game Gear or Master System games. For that, you'll want an actual Game Gear with the Master System converter, which, by the way, I have one of those now to review for you soon. The AtGames Game Gear and Master System Portable makes a great gift and collectible for fans of the Master System and Game Gear. It's got Astro Warrior and Golden Axe. I'm sold, and they play well too. The buttons aren't too bad. I mean, sure, it could be better, but trust me, it could have been a whole hell of a lot worse. And that's about the greatest compliment that a cheap aftermarket handheld can get.